Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for 10 things that you need to know about your aging loved ones. My name is Bob Dion. I'm the marketing consultant for Smith Senior Living, and I'll be kind of moderating this presentation. With us today is Anthony Herring, the Director of Sales for Smith Senior Living, and Marty Jadis, the Executive Director for Smith Village in Beverly.
My name is Marty Jadis. I'm the executive director here at Smith Village. I've worked here for about 27 years. I've been doing this role for the last 13 years, and I'm very proud to serve the seniors of our community.
And thank you, Marty. And I've been with Smith Senior Living 13, almost 14 years. And like Marty just mentioned, it's been a blessing to be with Smith Senior Living for this long period of time. So Smith Senior Living, we've been in existence for 104 years. Started there in the south side of Chicago with Smith Village. A little over 20 years ago, we expanded with Smith Crossing in Orland Park. As Marty mentioned, she's the executive director for Smith Village, been there for a number of years. And we've been very blessed to have a long tenured history in Chicago. So again, with 100 years of senior living, we do have quite a bit of experience. We are what you would call a life plan community. A life plan means that you can move in as an independent, and then you can move through the continuum of care as you need or your needs change. But also today, we're going to be talking more specifically about assisted living. So if your loved one or if you need assistance or care, you can move directly into assisted living here at Smith Senior Living, either at Smith Village and or Smith Crossing. We are a not-for-profit company, which means is that every profit that we do make is invested back into the company. When you start to do your research and looking into other communities, I would definitely ask them if they're not-for-profit. With 104 years of history, we are definitely financial stable, which is definitely important to us. If you have not heard of us, by all means, I would suggest to Google us and or also to ask some of your neighbors or friends, because we definitely have the 104-year history in South Chicago here, but also in Orland Park with over 20 years of history. We definitely advocate and we plead and ask for you to take a proactive role and understand their health. We also understand that this is a major, I would say this, it's a transition, and it's challenging sometimes to ask our parents and our loved ones how they're doing health-wise, and or also to visit doctors with them or to speak with the doctors directly. One thing we highly suggest is make sure that you or someone is their power of attorney for them so that you can speak to the doctors on their behalf. Also be cognizant of any falls, cuts, or memory lapses. Sometimes some people we've seen overlook this, but we ask you just to pay more attention to this. Also, we know that can be a daunting task. We would definitely ask for you to pay attention to medications, instructions, what time to take, day, night, and any or side effects. Is make sure that your loved one has an advanced care, instructions, or live in will. This is just another challenging topic is when you ask your loved ones about their financial situation. It's very private, but your loved ones need to know that you and we are there to assist and help as best as possible. What savings, what assets, Social Security, pensions, or other income streams that they do have. If they have any liabilities, where do we stand on a financial basis? As far as the resources to move into a community, yes, we do ask for certain information to be given to us to make sure it's a financial match. I would highly suggest whomever's making the decisions with your loved one or your friend or your relative is to have a power of attorney for the financial decisions, but also as a health power of attorney. You can have a dual power of attorney where one person's health, one person's financial, or you can be a co-power of attorney. So I'll definitely look at that. I'd also look at maybe if you need to live in trust, where the financial situations could be in a trust or irrevocable trust or revocable trust. We're not definitely attorneys, we're not CPAs here, but if you need referrals, if you don't have one, we can refer you to some other people. tax returns, deeds, accounts, insurance policies. We understand this is a daunting process, but we go through this and our team goes through this every single day. We are here to help you and assist you when you get to this point.
Anthony, Marty's question just came in. Do you have any tips on how to start the conversation with your parents about financial situation? It's a little awkward.
Sure. I was fortunate that my mom was always pretty open with me about her finances. But I know that that's not always the case, just dealing with many, many hundreds of people over my tenure here. I always just advise people to come from a place of caring and love and just, say, really, should the time come where you may need more help, and maybe you can't make those decisions for yourself, or perhaps you just need someone to have a backup for access to financial records and information. You're not looking to judge anybody about their financial status, but you're really just looking to help your parents out, help ease their burden. Because honestly, when you get to be 75 or 80, really, a lot of times your health um, situation is not that you have all this energy to do all the things that you used to do. And one of those things is paying your bills and maintaining all the things that you used to maintain. And this is just another one of those things.
I would also say this too, and Marty can also attest to this, is if you have siblings, I would highly suggest to meet with them, with your parent and or parents before something happens. Have a plan in place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always better to have everybody kind of on the same page, and hear from mom and dad first what their wishes are. Or maybe is there a change of level of living that needs to occur? Maybe from independent to assisted living, or sometimes from assisted living into our skilled nursing building. But the beauty of that is that mom and dad has already chosen Smith as their home, and they get to come back home regardless of what happens with them health wise.
And that's a great point. And we do this every day, so we're so used to it. But someone coming from the outside, they're not used to this because what's your first step? My mother had a stroke. What do I do? She's in the hospital. She's going to be discharged on a certain date. We take care of all of that for you. We work with the discharge planner at the hospital. We make sure that she comes into the rehab, and then she goes into assisted living, so forth and so on. We take care of all of that for you. It's all included. There's a lot of I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed, and that's what we do. Marty also mentioned, assisted living. If someone comes into assisted living and they need a higher level of care, we also have skilled nursing at our campuses at Smith Village and Smith Crossing. Some communities in our local areas there in Smith Crossing and also here at Smith Village, they don't have that. So in essence, when you start looking at other communities, please make sure they have the full continuum of care.
And we should backtrack and just explain what skilled nursing is, because not every place that has assisted living also has skilled nursing. It is a different regulation in our state. It is 24-hour nursing care. Although here at Smith, we do have 24-hour nursing care and assisted living as well. Not every assisted living in the state does. But it's for people who need that extra support and help. Beauty of Smith is that, you make friends in one level of living and you can still visit your friends. You can still do the activities that you used to do, because it's one building essentially.
Being with others. I'll talk briefly about this and I'll let Marty talk about this as well. It's a blessing when we see our residents get together in the morning at Smith Village and across and have coffee, and the conversations they have, it's quite entertaining. And they thrive on that interaction together, whether it's in the morning or if it's at lunch or dinner or at the pub or whatever. It's also when we've had a lot of snow here in Chicago in the last couple of weeks, and everyone seems to be happy because they don't have to worry about their sidewalks, they don't have to worry about their driveways. We take care of all that for them, and so it's a lot better to be with friends than to be isolated by yourself in your current house. I'm already mentioned, our trips and meals and activities. We joke about this, but at both campuses, it's like a cruise ship. You can be as active or as inactive as you want to be. It's really up to your choice and your lifestyle.
This question just came in. What are the rules around guests? You mentioned guests, or overnight stays. Can people come and go in the community?
So yes, so we do have obviously security overnight. We only have one door that is open, and obviously people do need to, we take all reasonable, security precautions, but if you do have an out of town family member, we have some guest suites here that families can rent out at a reasonable price. They can stay in the guest suite. It's like a little hotel room. Visit with mom and dad during the day, go back to the guest room at night. So that usually works out really well for people. Families are more than welcome to come to our pub and have dinner with their loved ones. Really, any place in the building is for our residents. So, if there's a bridge club, a Bible study, a family party, there's several rooms that would be available for those events. They just need to be reserved at no charge.
This is a really strong slide here, is that people live at Smith Village and or Smith Crossing maintenance free. If something breaks, you just call the front desk, we'll put in a ticket. If we cannot repair the dishwasher and or range or refrigerator, whatever it may be, we'll replace it. Or if the TV goes out or something happens, you will come up and make sure the cables are there. That's for independent living. Assisted living. It all depends. Everyone comes into assisted living at a different need or assistance, and then we'll meet with you and your loved one to see what can we do to meet their needs. Maybe dressing or medication management or bathing. It just depends. Not everyone comes in at the same level of need, and that's why we are experts in what we do, because we try to meet everyone at their current need when they enter our campus.
The way I look at it is the difference really is our independent living building is a larger and the apartments are larger. It's also a longer walk to the dining room and some of the common areas. So our independent living is an apartment just like you or I would have. It has full cooking kitchens. They're luxury apartments really. It's basically one bill. You write out one bill every month. In assisted living, we have that's for people who need a little bit more help. And in Illinois, that means if you need help with, say, your medication management, maybe you've fallen and you're afraid to, take a shower by yourself. Maybe you need a little bit of help dressing. That's assisted living. And the apartments are slightly smaller, but 3 meals a day are provided in the dining room, so you don't really need a large apartment. There is a kitchen, a small kitchen with a microwave and pretty decent sized refrigerator. Um, but the nurses kind of take care of all your medications for you so that you don't have to manage those on your own. And so if something should happen in the middle of the night, someone is there to respond to it. You basically, it's like a condo with a help button whenever you need it.
You may be wondering, is my loved one or my parent, are they independent or they're assisted? We will meet with them for you to distinguish that. Someone may be independent, but may need some extra hours of help, and we can do that. As we just mentioned, what do they need more care? We do allow in independent certain many hours per week to be in independent living, but there's a certain point in time where it's more appropriate for them to be in assisted living. Some people always ask, do you automatically tell them to go? It's a gradual process. It's very, very rare in my 13 years with Smith Senior Living that we told someone you have to go. 99.9% of the time, they know they need to go and they do that on their own. If you don't mind, I'll let you talk about this one as far as the ratios, the care, how many CNAs we have on an hourly basis with there at Smith Village, and then also the transition as far as how the higher levels of care. And also AL Plus, we just introduced this to Smith Crossing, but we've had this for a while there at Smith Village also.
they in the industry we used to call it a continuing care retirement community, but now we've transitioned as an industry to what they call life plan community. That means we offer the full continuum of care. Not a lot of places do have those services. We try not to be cookie cutter. We try to, if someone is experiencing some kind of health challenge, determine is it temporary, is it permanent, and try to come up with our nurses, even in independent living, we may pull in the director of nursing to kind of see, what do you, just to troubleshoot, what do we think, we could do to try to help this person. Um, but when it comes to us, and there is no nursing in independent living except for emergencies. That's a little bit of the difference between independent living and assisted living. In assisted living, really, residents can press a personal help button anytime, day or night. There's buttons in the apartment. There's a button that they can wear on their body, and we encourage them to wear that. Even if they're in the shower, they never have to take that button off. It's either a wristband or usually it's a wristband. We have a staffing in the assisted living and in our skilled nursing care 24/7 a day. And anytime someone presses the button, it goes to a pager. And someone responds to whatever apartment needs assistance. Our staffing ratios are really good. They're really excellent. We have one CNA per floor, and on our dementia unit, we have two CNAs 24 hours a day. And then we have two nurses on staff from 7 a.m. all the way till 10:30 at night. And overnight, we have one nurse on. And again, we have several CNAs on in the building. I think Smith Crossing has similar staffing. And so obviously the more help you need, might need a little bit more help. There is an adjustment of price. We do have, like Anthony had mentioned, we have our regular assisted living. We also have our memory support floor that is a little bit more of a secure floor if someone has wandering issues. But we created this new program, it's called Assisted Living Plus, and it's for people who aren't really a wander risk, but they just need more support. They need more care. So we have extra CNA hours on that unit to make sure that the person can get to the dining room, knock on the door. You want to come play bingo? Do you want to come watch the movie? So it's for people who just need that extra help. And when we do our assessment, we can determine, where is this person going to feel the most supported? Where are they going to be the most successful? Yeah, our sales counselors have worked here for a long time as well. And it's not a high pressure sales situation in any way, shape, or form. We have some lovely people who are on our we call it sales team, but in reality, they will give you a tour and they will answer your questions. And it's not really a sales feeling that you would get.
What about, Marty, if you don't mind, as far talk about, our background checks and for our team, our CNAs and the interactions also.
Sure, yes. So, when you are touring a community and even ours, we're lucky that, I hear from people daily, wow, the staff is so friendly. Everybody smiles. What do you do to hire these people? And we do have a pretty strict hiring process that we, make everybody go through. And if people really get on the job, and we do have a lot of tenured staff, we are required to do background checks for our skilled nursing building. So therefore, we just do background checks for everybody who gets hired here. So we also obviously have to check credentials. So there's a lot of things that we need to do and that we do above and beyond because we have a skilled nursing facility on site. So we do that same regimen for every single person that we hire on staff, whether it be someone who works, only in the dining room at night, in independent living, or if they work on one of our skilled nursing floors. So.
And at the bottom there, and thank you, Marty, it says, observe our team interaction with residents during your visit. I would highly suggest to observe that, but also another thing I would observe is say hello to our residents when you walk down a hallway or you're in the dining area or one of our restaurants. Say hello. I will be surprised surprised if no one says hello back. That's one thing that Marty and I pride ourselves on, is that everyone, residents and our team, always say hello. And 99.9% of the time, they're always smiling. And that tells you a little bit about the culture of the residents and also us as a community as well.
This question just came in. How many residents are at each community, and what is the culture like? Quiet, social, diverse?
Both communities have approximately, 300 residents, give or take, any given day and time. And that's separated a little bit differently between the three levels of living: independent living and assisted living and skilled nursing. And so, we do have quite a few people living at each community. Well, definitely very friendly, outgoing. I would say people, all have different interests. Our culture, we have, everybody from school teachers, school principals, firemen, policemen who live here. We also have professors and, people from all walks of life that live here at Smith Village.
And I would say the same thing goes with Smith Carlson too. It's definitely a diverse backgrounds, and it's fun to see them get together and become, like you mentioned earlier, Marty, but that strong bond or friendships from different backgrounds. And it's really fun to see that develop either at Smith Village and or Smith Carlson. As far as, what to choose, what's best for you and or your loved one or your parent, is I would highly suggest to come and meet with one of our counselors. And as Marty mentioned, and we pride ourselves on this, we're not a hard sell. We educate, assist, or mentor, coach, and assist for you to make that right decision. Obviously, we want that to be Smith Village or Smith Carlson, but it may not be. But at the same time, our goal is to make sure you make the right decision for yourself and or for your loved one. I would also, first impression means everything. I would make sure to pay attention when you walk through the door. How does our front desk or receptionist, how do they greet? Do they smile? What's your first impression of cleanliness, activities? By all means, come by for dinner or lunch and enjoy it. Sit down and have lunch with us or dinner. I hate to say this, but it always comes down to pricing. I would ask you to meet with our team to walk through the pricing to make sure there are no surprises. And please don't make a knee-jerk decision. We will meet with you and walk through every single thing on what's included, what's not included, to make sure that when you make that decision that you're 100% knowledgeable on what your decision you're making.
I think when my mom kind of went through the numbers, and a lot of people find this, is that when they go through what they're spending at home and then what they're spending here, it's, within a few $100s of each other every month. So it might be closer than you think.
Great comment. When you first look at our pricing, you may think, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But then you look at the details, as we just talked about, the minutia, what it includes. So that gap gets less and less when you know what it all includes. Because we're so used to writing the bill or check or ACH or whatever one by one. You're not used to doing it all at one time, as Marty mentioned earlier. And so it's not that big of a gap when you look at everything that's included. Talking about security and staff, and Marty talked about that earlier, and the services and programs and activities, there's a plethora. I mean, again, you can be as active or as inactive as you want to be. Another question, Bob has mentioned this a couple of days ago, is do we offer transportation to medical appointments and or activities? Yes. The only thing we ask is that they be scheduled, but we do have transportation to medical appointments. This is extremely important. You may want them to move into Smith Village and or Smith Carlson, but let's not forget that it all depends on what they want to do. We've met so many people. Met one person there at Smith Village, lived in his house for 70 years. That's a long time. So we know that it's a transition, and we do this every single day. So, if we could be of assistance to you to bring up that conversation, let us know, and then we're here to help you. As we've mentioned before about our counselors, is Cara Candelas. Cara's been with us over 14 years. She started out in our dining, as a matter of fact, and she became a marketing coordinator. Now she's a sales coordinator. Tammy's been with us for a number of years as well. They specifically focus on assisted living, but also when you call either campus, 99.9% of the time, one of those could be answering the phone. If you're calling for independent, they will transfer you at Crossan. It will be Mike Wilson and or Village. It will be with Teresa Rush. Teresa been with us almost 20 years. So she started when she was just 5 years old, but she's been with us for almost 20 years. And they, and of course, I'm biased. I'm Marty, I know you'll say the same thing. I believe they do an amazing job to help you make the right decision. And it may not be us, but to make the right decision for you and or your loved one.
Yeah, so you'll see it is a one-bedroom apartment, and it does have a living room slash kitchen area, and then a nice, decent-sized bedroom with a good-sized bath, a walk-in shower, um, and it really has all the comforts of home. Since the meals are supplied in the dining room, you'll notice there is no range or oven, but there is a microwave oven, and a nice size refrigerator. So, and our residents usually, by the time they get to assisted living, they're really not interested in cooking anymore anyway. But because we do have so many dining venues, they find, variety. We do also have a chef, and a nice culinary team, and they do listen to what the residents want to see on the menu. Variety is usually never the concern. If anything, too much variety or too much ethnic foods might be more of a concern than not enough variety.
This question just came in. What is the food like at Smith?
I've been eating the food for 27 years, and I've not lost a pound. No, but the residents have a lot of impact and a lot of input as to what the menus look like. There are some things we call on our daily menu that we cannot take off. The burger, there's some salads that can't be taken off, salmon, some other dishes that they want to see every single day. And then there are our daily specials. There's always two at lunch, two at dinner. And then beyond that, residents can order those things that they really like: cottage cheese, fruit plate, grilled cheese, all the things that you would typically see on a menu.
And Marty, am I correct that we also have specials and we tweak our menu, well, every quarter, every 6 months? Is that
So
correct?
every season the chef does change the menu. But if there's a problem, people don't like a certain dish, she will take it off, in between that time. But she really does try to match the season with the menus that we're serving, to make sure that we're getting the most fresh ingredients that we can.
Are there operations or are there religious services at Smith, or how does that work?
So we are non-denominational at both campuses. However, we do have mass every Monday. Obviously, the community priests are busy on Sundays, so we'll get them on Mondays. And then we also have a Protestant. I know we have a Protestant service here at Smith Village. I'm not sure what they have at Crossing. I think they have some other
So,
non-denominational services at the Crossing.
correct, correct, we do.
Yeah.
One more question here regarding the nursing staff. Are your CNAs and nurses contracted, or are they staff?
So we have both right now. Obviously, it's always ideal to have our own staff that we've trained, but if there is absences in the schedule for whatever reason, we do have um, an agency, for lack of a better word, the staffing agency that we do use. We do try to reutilize the same people on a consistent basis, so we get some consistency there, and they're very good.
One more. This sounds like somebody is almost ready to move in here. I have a lot of stuff. Uh, any guidelines on making the transition from a condo to assisted living?
If I can answer that one, Marty, we work with different companies. We call it right sizing. And these companies, I won't mention the names on the Zoom, but you can definitely get them from either Car, Mike, Cami, or Teresa. They know our studios for assisted living. So they would come to your apartment and or condo and or house, and they would look at what do you want to bring, and then they would advise you what they can bring. That's outside of our company, outside of Smith Senior Living, but they can do that for you. They will pack up, deliver, unpack, put in place, and then the items that you're not able to get to move into your independent or assisted living, they will get rid of it for you. Now, that isn't an additional investment on your part, but they'll come over at free of charge on the first appointment to let you know what they can do for you. And we all know that if you lived in your house or for 30, 40, 50 years, you've accumulated a little bit of stuff per se, but they will help you get rid of that as well.
Obviously,
Marty?
we have maintenance staff here most of the day, honestly. Just over the overnight shift, I don't have a maintenance person here. So what the residents typically do is they'll call down to the desk and they'll ask that a work ticket be put in. If someone's computer savvy, we do have an app that they can put in their own work ticket, but most residents just call the desk. The receptionist will put in that work order. She'll make sure that you're going to be home or that we're allowed to enter the apartment if you're not home. And then they will take care of whatever it is they need to take care of. Now, twice a year, we do change filters and furnaces, check smoke detector batteries, and do what we would call preventative maintenance, check the CO2 detectors in the apartment, things like that. Wash windows. And then beyond that, if there's something that needs to be done, hang a picture, maybe hang a TV, things like that. Those would be work order appropriate.
This is a question that I have or an observation I think a lot of people have. How is assimilation? How do people fit in when they move into a Smith community?
Sure. We have a great group of residents, I think, at both campuses that we call a welcome committee. And these are people who are really dedicated to making sure that new residents at least feel at home the first few weeks that they're here. Inviting them to dinner, making sure that they, go to a little reception, so they get to know some of the other residents. We have happy hours every month on on the floors so that new residents can come out, meet the residents on their floor. And then we also have a little orientation that we do with the residents. Obviously, want to get them in settled, and then where they can absorb, some of the orientation materials and get taken around, show where their mailbox is, show them where all the rooms are, where the activities occur, show them where the dining room is, things like that.
And I'll add to that, and thank you. I'll say this. We have some residents at Village and or Smith Crossing. We may see once every 3 weeks because they don't want to be, that's who they are. But also, I would say 98% of our residents at Smith Crossing and Smith Village, we see on a daily basis. But we do have a welcoming committee. We call them ambassadors also. They are there to help traverse the campus, introduce you to other people. So we definitely have a warm welcome for new people.
And I didn't mention, we also have a resident services manager, and think of her as a concierge. She's there. She's the one who does the new resident orientation, and she'll make sure that any questions that the person might have, that they get answered right away. She's very responsive.
And again, any other questions that people have, please contact Smith Village or Smith Crossing, those numbers that you had before, and we can certainly get those answers as quickly as possible. And we hope to see you soon. Yeah.
One thing that we have started with both campuses is a trial stay. some people are hesitant to make that move 100%. So rather than diving into the deep end, they want to put their feet in or toes in and feel the water and test the water. So we do have a trial stay program at both campuses for 90 days. And so if you're having a challenge talking with your parent or loved one about moving in, I would definitely, and it's no obligation. It's very rare, but it has happened at both campuses where someone will come in for 90 days and they'll go back to their house. But it's very rare. But you could do that. And also they live like you're living like a resident full time. You get all the care, everything. I would tell you, unless Marty, you correct me, but I would tell you 99.9% of the time, they bring their own furniture because they want to feel like they're home while they're with us. And that's for 90 days. You enjoy all the programs, the amenities, dine-in, everything.
Thanks, everybody, and thanks for listening. And we hope to talk to you soon.